Hi everyone, it's Helen from Mind Gift, and today is the first video in a series about how your mind works, or an instruction manual for your mind as I call it. And remember that we're called Mind Gift because your mind is a gift. So as we go through the next few weeks and we learn about how our mind works and we become more aware of it, we're going to be able to use it far more effectively because it's really, really clever. So first of all today, what I want you to understand is we have our conscious and our unconscious mind, or subconscious some people call it. I actually prefer to call it the captain and the crew, okay? And the captain is the conscious mind giving instructions, or actually busy doing something else sometimes and not giving a good instruction. And the crew is in the background, which is essentially running 95% of what you do. 95% of what we do is a habit or a program. So if you think about when you're born, essentially your mind is like a computer or a blank computer. When you get a phone or an iPad or a computer and it's blank and you have to download all the programs and apps, etc. onto it for it to function how you want it to. That's what happens with your mind. And so up to around the age of 7, there's something called the critical faculty barrier, which I'm not expecting you to remember. I just want you to imagine it's like a car park barrier that is wide open, okay? And that is between the conscious and the unconscious mind, or the captain and the crew. And in that period, it's wide open and information is downloading really, really quickly. Information that we need to learn in order to survive really quickly. Like walking and talking as a good example. So when you see some animal films from David Attenborough stuff, you'll see what seems to be something really cruel, like a giraffe gives birth to baby giraffe's on the floor, and then the mummy giraffe is kicking the baby giraffe to get it to stand up, and you think, oh, that's a bit harsh. But actually it is in terms of getting it to quickly learn, it's got to get on its feet to survive. So that's why it's important during that period of our life, because we have to learn a lot of things really quickly, don't we? That the barrier is open, and then after the age of 7 up to around 18 it starts to close, and pretty much most of our programs are written and made and they're trapped in there, okay, unless we start to look at them and try and undo them. Now lots of these programs, as I've said, are really helpful, they're essential to our life. So walking and talking again is an example. And can you imagine what it would be like if day in, day out you had to get up and relearn to walk or relearn to talk? Well, of course you can't imagine, can you? Because that would just be ridiculous and we wouldn't be able to get on with anything else. So these things are automatically being run by the crew, the unconscious mind, so we can get on with the other stuff in our life. So that's amazing, it's wonderful, it's really powerful. It's just that unfortunately, in that period in our life where the barrier is open, it's not selective necessarily about the other stuff we learn and some of the things that we take on board, the experience we have and how we interpret them from our mums, dads, aunties, uncles, teachers, etc., etc., and how our values and beliefs are set, and then how we run habits and how we continually behave. So lots of really good stuff goes in, lots of bit more crap stuff goes in, if you like. And the only programs that we need to learn to look at are those that are not serving us, that are not helping us, that are getting us into situations that I say we're not enjoying in life, if you like. So that's the time at which we need to understand our mind, understand how the program works, and then start to interrupt the program. But as I say, you don't want to interrupt the program on how to walk, because that's working perfectly well, isn't it? So these programs, they're called neural pathways. I call it dot to dot. So imagine it's like dot to dot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equals walk. Okay, and that's perfect. But actually, if you've got a program that goes 1, 2, 5, 8, 10, 11, 6 equals I lose my temper, then it might be a program that's not serving you, or equals I have a panic attack or anxiety, or I've got a phobia, or I'm having issues in my relationships, and things that keep repeating themselves, and you've got your head in your hands going, how have I arrived here again? I promised myself I wouldn't do that again. Why does this keep happening to me? Then it's because we need to look at one of these neural pathways, these programs, and look at what's creating that habit and try and interrupt it. And as the weeks go on, we're going to find different ways of doing that as we understand and become aware and learn about our minds, all right? And the first one I want you to learn today, though, it comes from a story, a real story, a true story from Edison and the light bulb. And when Thomas Edison created the light bulb, the story goes, it says, they say that he performed over 1,000 experiments every time, over and over again, in order, before he was actually able to create the light bulb or get the result of the light bulb, okay? And people go, wow, how many times would you try, think about it, to do something and achieve something if you kept thinking, it's not working, it's not working, it's not working, it's not working? And people say to me, oh, well, depends how much you want it, 2 or 3, 10, 5, 100, if I really want something more. So yeah, of course, it does depend on how motivated we are. But actually, a lot of the time, we give up quite soon. As we age, we seem to lose this ability to continually have another go and have another go. What's that all about? So it comes down to when we ask Edison, how come every time you performed an experiment and then you failed, you kept going and kept trying again? And the answer, of course, is he would tell you he never failed once. There's no such thing as failure. All there was a piece of feedback on that experiment that then led him to do something different and then have another go, and then tweak something and do it different and have another go, and then tweak again and so forth. So every single time he did an experiment, he did it differently. He didn't keep repeating the same thing over and over again and then being a bit bewildered and shocked that the light bulb didn't happen, did he? He took the feedback and he used that information to change it. When we keep finding ourselves in a situation that is repeating itself and we're not enjoying, it is because we keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and actually expecting a different result. Which is really the first sign of madness when you think about it, isn't it? To keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always gotten. So what we have to do is start to do something differently. And the thing is, what I want you to understand is you all have this ability because you did it when you learned to walk. You didn't just keep crawling around, falling over, and not tweaking and changing and thinking, how can I help myself? I can hold my mum's hand, my dad's hand, I can hold the chair, yeah, I can wobble, but then I'll figure out how to use my heel and my toes. You kept tweaking and tweaking and tweaking. You didn't repeat. And eventually you learned to walk. So much so that, thank goodness, now we can all do it unconsciously while we're getting on with our life. And if you think of it simply like baking a cake, you wouldn't make a cake, follow the instructions, follow the ingredients, put it in the oven and burn it and then think, oh, I'll have another go at that and put it in the oven exactly the same time and temperature. You'd change the temperature, you'd change the time, wouldn't you, for example? So we need to tweak these programs when we're getting a result that we don't like so that we can improve things in our life. And we do that by giving our unconscious mind, or the crow, better instructions. So the key thing that I want you to learn from today is we've got our conscious and our unconscious mind, the captain and the crew. They learned lots of information, or the unconscious mind learned lots of information under the age of 7 that wasn't very selective. Some of it was unhelpful, but it is now embedded in. And what we want to do is look at those programs that we might want to change and we might want to do something differently. The other thing about that is we want to be kind to ourselves. If you saw the video last week, be your own best friend, and you think about the story about learning to walk, while you were learning to walk, nobody was saying to you, you're not too good at that walking. I tell you what, why don't you sit down on your backside for the rest of your life and I'll push you around in your pram? No, of course they didn't say that to you, did they? everybody was going, you can do it, that's amazing, clapping you, cheering you on, yeah? That's how that worked. And it is important that we cheer ourselves on when we're learning these things and doing things differently, so that we encourage ourselves. If we go, oh, I'm rubbish at this, I don't want to bother, I can't be bothered, I'll sit on my backside for the rest of my life, none of us would be walking, would we? So we need to give ourselves better instructions, and we need to support ourselves when we're interrupting the programme and doing something different, and be kind. Okay, next week when I talk to you, we're going to be talking about the programme a little bit more, the dot to dot, the neural pathways. I'm going to help you understand all the different bits, and we're going to learn to interrupt the programme just one way, and of which there are many ways. So that's enough information for today, guys, on the instruction manual for the mind. I hope it's been helpful. Remember, your mind is a gift, and as we learn how to use it, we'll get better and better. So stay safe and stay well. It's been great talking to you. Thanks for listening. Bye for now. Bye.